I think there are lots of ways of looking at life. Lots of attitudes towards performance, optimizing our talent, and making the most of what we've got. I'm going to share with you 5 principles today, which have been handcrafted, lovingly put together. In fact, when I was asked to do some work for PrimeSite, I put these 5 principles together because I thought they were probably most useful to your industry. So I'm going to share with you 5 ideas, 5 principles, 5 values, which may or may not be useful to you. And I don't want you to remember everything. I don't want you to listen to everything. You don't need to take everything in. And it's about a 1 degree of change, a 1 degree of change. What I mean by that is that if you take 2 parallel lines and you move one by 1 degree, it may not seem much at first, but there is a big difference between where you start and where you end up. Everyone is trying to start something or stop something. So I don't want it to be about that. I want it to be about 5 ideas, 5 principles, which may or may not be useful to you. And there might be 1 word, 1 value, 1 idea, 1 sentence which you think, you know what? I quite like that. I quite like that. I might give that a go. I said, so that's what I'm after. So 1 degree of change is not about a sea change, not about doing something dramatic. It's about doing something a little bit better, occasionally, if you remember. It's easy self-help, isn't it, tonight? We've all had a beer. And do something a little bit better occasionally if you remember. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Thank you very much. If only it was that easy. But you know what? I think it is. I think it is. Everyone's trying to start something or stop something. From tomorrow, I will be different. New Year's resolutions. You know who you are. New Year's resolutions. From tomorrow, I'll be different. Start doing this or I'll stop doing that. We do it in business as well. People say green light and red light behavior. From tomorrow, we need to stop doing this with our clients. From tomorrow, we need to start doing this as a team. This is what we need to do. It's really hard work. So incremental change might be about doing something that you're already quite good at and doing it a little bit more occasionally if you remember. I've actually worked in teams where people have weakened a strength by trying to strengthen a weakness. And so it's ludicrous. So to be more successful in your business, in your team, as an individual, it might be just about a little more self-awareness in regard to what it is that you already do well. The first idea, first principle I want to share with you is the idea of inner dialogue. Oh no. He is a psychologist and a performance coach. He is going to talk about positive mental attitude. No, I'm not. I'm not a believer in positive mental attitude. I'm genuinely not, actually. I don't believe in positive mental attitude. I will write a book one day called The Power of Negative Thinking, but that's another story. But I do believe in this. I do believe that we think, and then we feel, and then we act. And that's what we do, is that we think and feel that. Now, you do this. Your families do this. Your clients do it. Your team members do it. Your boss does it. And so this is what we do. We think, and then we feel, and then we act. So all of our actions or behaviors are a direct result of what we're feeling, which comes from the words and pictures in our head. So we think in words and pictures. They shape our feelings, which in turn shape our actions. That's what happens. So the only way in which we can change our actions or behaviors is by changing how we feel about a particular task, situation, event, or person. And we can only do that by changing the words and pictures in our head. So the difference between compliance and commitment is whether you work in here or whether you work in here. So people say to me all the time, I would love to change the way in which my 300 middle managers think. I'd love the way to change the way in which they act. I would love for my 3,000 customer-facing staff to act differently. I want them to behave differently. And many organizations talk about behavioral change. You've probably heard it. About changing actions, changing behaviors is what we talk about. I think the smart manager works in here. So we can tell people to be different all the time. You can tell your clients to act differently. You can tell your team members to act differently. You can tell yourself to act differently. Does it work? Maybe in the short term, a little bit, possibly. But if we change the words and pictures in our head, we can determine different feelings and more purposeful and meaningful change. Let me give you an example to prove this to be true. 2 people set up a business, and that business is anything. That business is the same business. So it's the same geography, it's the same product, same service, same distribution channels, same customers, whatever it might be. Everything is exactly the same. They are selling photocopiers in the Cannock area. You've had a beer, I'm helping with your visualization. So that's the business, exactly the same businesses. This person says, this business has got to work, because if it does, then I could be financially independent within 3 years. This business has got to work. Because if it does, then I could be spending 2 days a week with the children in 3 years' time every week, giving me more time. This business works. I could buy a dream home in New Zealand. I could move to America, but the market will be right in a couple of years. I might upgrade the house, upgrade the car, upgraded partner, whatever it might be. You know who you are. Same business, same products, same customer base, same geography. Everything's the same. And this person says, this business has got to work, because if it doesn't, I could go bankrupt. I may have to make redundancies. If this business doesn't work, then I may have to downsize or downgrade. If this business doesn't work, my friends will laugh at me. This business doesn't work, my friends will laugh at me. This person is motivated by what they wish to achieve. This person is motivated by what they want to avoid. In my experience, super performers, people who perform exceptional levels in business and in sport, in relationships, more often than not are motivated by what they wish to achieve, not motivated by what they want to avoid. Why? The reason why is that we are drawn towards our most dominant thoughts. Expectation becomes reality. We get what we think about. That's what happens. Think, feel, act. If we are thinking about bankruptcy, downsizing, downgrading, how does it make you feel? It makes you feel pretty shitty, doesn't it? How do you think that this person acts when they go to see a client? Even if they're trying to move away from it, by the way. And I don't want these things to happen. I don't want to fail. And I don't want to make a mistake. I spent a lot of time in financial services, a lot of time working with banks. I was working with people at one stage who are walking to work trying not to lose their job. Can you imagine it? Imagine walking to work and trying not to lose an account. I don't want to lose this account. I don't want to lose this client. I don't want this to happen. I think you're more likely to get it. I think that this person who is motivated by moving away from failure is quick to do deals. I think they discount. I don't think that they're expansive in their thinking or ambitious in their creativity. I don't think that they necessarily think long term. I think what they want to do is tick the boxes and maintain a position. You are motivated by a dream home in New Zealand, moving to America, financial independence and time off. I think there's a different confidence which is created in regard to those feelings when you have those dominant thoughts. If that's the case, I think that this person would act differently. I think that they would be more expansive, more ambitious in their thinking. I think they'd be more likely to create value. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Do you know I work with 3 golfers inside the top 10 in the world? And I promise you now that not one of them will stand at the US Open next week on the first tee and say, don't hit it left. Don't drop it in the water.